Okay, welcome. It's Sunday, March 13th, 2016. I just posted this standard versus PPR scoring based on current average draft position. I have kind of two parts here. I have my red versus green symbols that are standard versus PPR scoring, and I look at the top 3 rounds versus 36 picks here, and just starting to look at some patterns. So you can look at the wide receivers going across. You can look, and that's in standard. This is in the PPR. And tight end, there's Gronk there. And here's some of the running backs. And then the quarterbacks are starting to show up in round 3, actually. And the first 2 are going at the end by the end of round 3 in standard, and only one is being grabbed in PPR right now. The most significant thing to me is certainly this run of wide receivers that's occurring in round 2. So you need to consider, if you're drafting early, how are you going to deal with almost every pick in PPR is a wide receiver round 2, almost across the board. So that needs to be some thought. So that's the whole point of me putting this, is just to at least give you a heads up that this is occurring here. So that will be something you can use. And then from here on, I list the position, the player, the type of scoring system, our rank score, and overall risk score. Certainly in red is not so good, and in green, staining obviously is very good. So this says in PPR that we rank it at a -14, so it's certainly below average. But you know what you're getting here, in the sense that your risk is not very high. It's only a 20 out of a scale of 100. So you're getting a below average defense, we predict right now, very early, but it's not very risky. Versus, say, the highest one right now. Of course, this is the defense compared to everybody, so this is an overall ranking. So 1.2 is Denver's defense, and so that's what we consider number 1. Then Carolina is number 2 in a PPR, those kind of things. We see a little more risk with Carolina versus Denver right now. Okay, so almost half the risk value, from roughly 30 to, well, maybe not half, but 60, about a third less risk between those 2 top defenses. And you can go through, here's some more defenses here. And again, this is place kickers and quarterbacks. And we're really liking Aaron Rodgers here, certainly Cam Newton in PPR, and we don't feel they're very risky. Whereas somebody like Alex Smith is fairly risky, and Brock Osweiler is not highly ranked, but is still a little bit risky at 42. So you can look through here. Certainly somebody like Drew Brees is not very risky, and we rank him fairly high on the scale here. Blake Bortles, we're expecting bigger things from him, less risk. Andy Dalton, we think there's more risk here with him, and so the rank and the risk are a little bit something to consider. That's in PPR, and then the standard is below that as well. Okay, so here's some more data here you can look at. We certainly like Russell Wilson right now, and here's some of the risk values here. Tom Brady, nice risk numbers there, so it's pretty good here. We think Marcus Mariota is about average, but we do think that he's a little bit more dependable on some of these with a little higher risk value. So you do have to consider that as well. I think both numbers give you some insight there. Here's some running backs. Of course, you would predict somebody like AP would be very highly ranked, and he and he is. And notice the risk value is almost no risk. I mean, nothing's 100%. Amir Abdullah is fairly well ranked, but a little bit higher risk. And of course, Alfred Blue is not very risky as well here. Uh, so anyway, uh, that's where we're at on the running backs, and we can go through some of the other. And I think you can just go through here. David Johnson is obviously one of the highly ranked, one or two running backs, and take a look at the risk. Okay, so we'll roll through, and then we finally get to the tight ends, and Delaney Walker certainly is a top choice. Greg Olson here. But some of them, Clyde Walford, for instance, is highly risky. So is Charles Clay. A lot more risk in the tight ends here than you might be comfortable with. But it's up to you to decide how you want to play tight ends. I would either play early or I would not take the middle round tight ends. I think I would be looking for a late round snatch. And here is the wide receivers, A.J. Green. He's always on the top group. Allen Robinson, nice risk values. Hearns, we see, is a little bit more risky than his his teammate Allen, but he's not ranked as high, okay? Antoine Bolden has some pretty good risk associated. Amendola, very risky there. So you can just go through and start pinpointing some ideas about the risk and rank and just kind of weigh that. I mean, one could even divide this number by that and get kind of a ratio rank to risk. And, we've done that as well. Just don't, we just hadn't put that out. But you could do that if you wanted to kind of try to include both of those numbers in some type of thought process or some type of total risk rankings there, if you were. And so we encourage you to take a look at this post that's on our FantasySportsProfessors.com website. Okay, so hope you enjoyed me just kind of strolling through the data. Go to the our blog, and you can download it or take a look and enjoy and start getting some thoughts about who you might be wanting to focus on here. Now's the time to let your mind wander beyond just kind of what was going on last year. You don't draft last year's team. So who are we drafting for this year? So think about that. Okay, hope this helped you out. We'll have some more videos coming down the road. Thanks for listening.